In this video, I'm going to try and capture for you my very mixed feelings about artificial intelligence. You may refer to it as ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini, but essentially all of those are artificial intelligence programs. I first heard about artificial intelligence, in terms of ChatGPT, in December of 2022. And frankly, when some of the other people in the English department started raising the alarm bells about this crazy new program that could write complete essays and take tests and do pretty well on them, I was in the midst of finals week and final grading, and I just didn't have time to turn my energy to anything new. So it was really January 2023 that I started looking into artificial intelligence and how it might impact my classroom. My initial worries about it, as I started playing around with it and asking questions about it, were what many other teachers feared as well, that artificial intelligence was going to make my job as an English instructor completely unnecessary. That if students could have a computer program write something for them that turned out pretty well, what was the point of taking an English class? I had an even deeper issue with artificial intelligence, which was really a complete identity crisis. For all of my life, since I was pretty small, I've been a good writer. That was the thing that I could always count on. I can't sing, I'm not very athletic, I have a lot of things I can't do, but I could always write well. And I was asked by a lot of family and friends to write things for them, to proofread things for them, to help them write things, to come up with ideas. And I took a lot of pride in that. And I still do. But it was very upsetting to realize that in a matter of seconds, a computer program could write a poem or an essay or a story or a letter or any of the other things that I have always thought of myself as being pretty good at. So I didn't make many changes to my class in that January 2023 semester. I just didn't have time before the semester started. And once the semester was going, it was hard to really make adaptations. But that summer, the summer before the fall 2023 semester, I spent a lot of time trying to AI-proof my classes. So the main thing that I did was make sure that every essay assignment has a personal element. I want you to write in first person. I want you to incorporate your own experiences, because AI doesn't do emotional things very well, and it doesn't do personal things very well. It can do them, but it's not going to sound uniquely you. I have never once had a no AI policy. I just didn't think that was practical. I feel like you as students are probably going to use artificial intelligence. It's certainly not going away, and you're going to be using it in your future jobs and lives. So if I had a strict policy of handwritten papers in my seated classes, it might solve the problem in the short term, but it's not adding anything beneficial to your life in the future. I think there is a place for artificial intelligence in an English class. I think it's great for helping you generate ideas, for outlining and organizing, for maybe helping you craft your thesis statement if that's something you struggle with. Proofreading is great, although sometimes students will have it proofread and it will change a lot of words to words that no longer sound like them. So if you have it proofread, be very specific in what you ask it to do so that it doesn't change your voice too much. It can also be helpful with formatting things like your MLA citations. I will tell you, with all the things I just named, while I believe AI can be helpful, I've also seen problems with AI doing all of those things. So in the end, I always want you to look over anything that you ask AI to help you with. Check it, look it over, think about it. Where is AI not acceptable in my class? Frankly, I really do not want you to just have AI write an essay for you or completely write an assignment for you and you do nothing to change it, look it over, you turn it in as is from AI. That's not acceptable. So I think my concerns with AI point to just a deeper issue, which is, why do we ask students to take English classes? Why does the state of Missouri say it's necessary for you to take an English class or maybe 2 English classes in order to get your college degree? And it's not really so much about English as it is about thinking. Writing is a great way to prove that you can think critically, thoughtfully, and that you can be logical in your ideas. You can put things together in a logical way. I realize that in your future job, you may not be asked to write an essay. Very few people probably are. But you will be asked to write emails and proposals, maybe chart and medical records. You're going to be asked to write, and you need to know how to do that logically and effectively. And learning to write in an English class, following specific guidelines, helps fine-tune that ability. I believe strongly in that writing demonstrates your ability to think critically, and process information. An essay is a tool to do that. There are other tools that can do that as well. It's just that the English faculty for many years, English departments, have believed in the format of an essay. Writing an essay or writing a paragraph or writing a response uses a different skill set than simply memorizing information and spitting it back out for a test. There's benefit for that as well, but it's not that thinking piece that we're looking for when we ask you to write. So what are the pitfalls of artificial intelligence when you use it to write your papers? A lot of times AI will use very lofty language. The word resilience comes up again and again, for example. AI uses the M dash, which is the long dash. Typically it uses it a lot. I will tell you, I've always liked the long dash. I've used that a lot, especially in informal writing like emails or texts. I didn't even know it had a name, M dash, until AI writing became more prolific and more out there, and people started saying, hey, AI uses a lot of these long M dashes. It often writes a thesis statement that starts with, in this paper I will, or this paper will explore, or this essay will explore. It often uses the words in conclusion to start the conclusion. It will make up sources, like if you ask it to write a paper with outside sources included, which I will ask you to do 3 times this semester, it will often make them up, hallucinate them, you may have heard that term, or it might use real sources, but it uses them completely out of context. In a research paper, a research-based paper, AI will include those sources, but often with a lead-in, like according to author Sam Jones, comma, da-da-da-da-da. And I don't love those lead-ins. I maybe use one of them per paper, but typically I want you to use in-text citations, and we're going to be learning more about all of these terms. So don't panic if these are kind of unfamiliar terms for you. AI uses a lot of paraphrasing instead of direct quotes. I like to see you use both. AI paragraphs often have a real formula they'll follow. So when I get an essay that I feel like a student has extensively used AI on, often the paragraphs are all formulated kind of the same way. A broad statement, an outside resource, a vague personal observation about that source, and a concluding sentence. There just kind of is a formula it follows. The key to using AI well in any project, anything you ask it to do, is learning how to prompt it well. The prompt is the secret, and we'll talk about this. I have, spoiler alert, I do have an assignment, your 3rd essay, I'm requiring you to use AI on. So when we get there, I'll talk to you a lot about the importance of prompting correctly. But in the fall semester, I had a student who was trying to write this AI-generated essay, get AI to write it for him that I assigned him, and it prompted it at least 20 times before he could even get something he was sort of okay with. And he was so frustrated at that point, he said, I'd rather just write it myself. So learning to prompt it is also really important. But I worry that students who rely on AI too much will not know how to evaluate their own writing or anyone else's because they haven't been challenged to think about how to put ideas together logically as an essay requires. So in the spring of 2025, I did add an AI assignment. It's your 3rd essay, and I will ask you to generate an AI essay. I'll give you a very specific prompt to do so. And then you're going to take that, check it, verify it, read through it, rewrite it, retool it, rework it, check all the sources, and you're going to distinguish your writing, what you add to it or change, from the AI writing with different colored fonts. My students who do this assignment well and who get a really good grade on it often tell me afterwards, it would have been so much easier just to sit down and write the essay myself. My goal with that assignment is to help you understand what AI does well and what it does not do well. It can't do everything very well. So can you use it? Sure. Can you use it for everything? I don't think so, and I don't want you to. When I first instituted this assignment, I was meeting with a student, and she said, my grandmother is absolutely appalled that you are having us use AI in your class. And I thought a lot about that statement, but the frank truth is that it's not going away. AI is only getting better, and you're probably going to use it in your future careers. My son-in-law is a computer programmer. He tells me he uses it every day. My daughter is a social media marketing manager. She uses it pretty much every day. They don't use it to do their jobs for them. They use it to get ideas, search for ways to do things faster, more efficiently, and then they check and verify. And that's what I'm asking you to do as well. Remember that AI does not think. And I feel like this is something that gets lost a lot of times. AI is not thinking, it is predicting. It is predicting what word comes next. It's predicting what you want to hear based on the prompt you gave it. AI wants to please you. It's going to seem really eager and positive. It's going to be very affirming a lot of times in the things it tells you because it wants to please. It aims to predict and please. It's not thinking. This really hit home for me. A friend of mine was telling me that she asked for a raise at her job, and her employer said, well, you need to write a letter in which you detail everything you do in your job, and then bring that letter to us and help that justify whether or not you can have a raise. So after she put all these things together, she asked ChatGPT to read through the list and to help her format the letter. And in the conversation she was having with ChatGPT, it told her that, this is demeaning that your employer asked for this letter. And so she was so proud of that. She said, wow, even ChatGPT thinks my employer was wrong to ask for this. I'm thinking, no, ChatGPT didn't think that. ChatGPT could tell by your tone that what you wanted to hear was that your employer was wrong. And ChatGPT told you exactly what you wanted to hear. So I've asked myself this a lot. If you're a college student who is here in college to grow, improve, and learn, which I hope you are, why would you use AI to do the work for you? Typically, I find that students who use ChatGPT or another AI program do it out of desperation or laziness or maybe curiosity. If it's late at night, you've got an assignment due, I know you're busy, you've got jobs, you've got families, you've got a lot going on. And college is a lot of work. And you have other classes. You're not just taking my class, probably. Those are the reasons I think students often fall back on using AI. Is cheating something new that's come about because of AI? Absolutely not. Cheating has been going on in college as long as college has been around. AI just gives you a different new way to cheat. And I'm not saying all use of AI is cheating. As I said earlier, I think there are perfectly appropriate ways you can use it. But now that I've been living with AI permeating my English classes for a couple of years, I will tell you I've become hypersensitive to it. If I suspect that something you've turned in was not written by you because the language is lofty or the language doesn't sound like you or it words things in a very vague way, there are just these little hallmarks I notice. I'll call you out on it. I have categories in my rubrics for meeting the assignment and for authentic sounding voice, unique writing voice. And those are the areas that a lot of times AI doesn't do very well. And that's where I will deduct points, if I'm going to probably, for what I believe is AI writing. Here's my cat. I can't prove it. But I just have a strong feeling about it. So if I call you out and say this really sounds like AI writing for these reasons, then feel free to tell me that you wrote it yourself if you did. Please be honest with me. I've had students I've called out who've said, yeah, you're right, I did use AI, and it was wrong of me to do that. And I've had other students who say, nope, I wrote it myself. So, I still have suspicions. I still can deduct points for those areas that just don't meet the assignment. but I do want to have a frank conversation with you if I feel like it's becoming an issue for you. My role as your instructor is to grade your work and give you feedback and help you become a better writer. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I love it. It's what I love to do, is help you become a better writer. I would never, ever, ever, ever offload my grading to ChatGPT or any other AI source. And in a department meeting, my chair mentioned that as a department, we do not endorse doing that. And I was shocked. I couldn't imagine any teacher anywhere offloading their work, the work they're being paid to do, to ChatGPT or AI. I would never do it. So when I'm grading your work, and I spend a lot of time grading, giving feedback, you'll see that I write on your drafts with an Apple Pencil. If I feel like I'm grading something a machine wrote, then it doesn't feel like a good use of my time, and I will get a little frustrated. So those are my feelings. I know this is a long video, but I actually did a free write to get all these ideas out on paper before I put together an outline and made this video. But I hope it helps you understand my feelings and my policies about artificial intelligence.